Welcome to WEWIN New. Chemical explosion has destructive power equivalent to nuclear bomb. Tornado of death in the middle of the road.
Oh my God, I got that. Holy sh**. Holy sh**. Oh my God.
A building in North Carolina exploded after a hit-and-run driver crashed into a gas pipeline.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
An explosion at Smitty's Supply oil plant in R1000, 378 Oastland, Louisiana. Floods destroy homes in Strony Slasky, Poland in seconds. The truck crashed into a bus, and the dashcam driver swerved to the left to avoid colliding with the bus. An oil tanker exploded and caught fire on the road.
Look at this. Look at this. Ooh.
A tanker truck crashed into a residential area in Frederick County, Maryland, setting several homes on fire and causing an explosion.
Oh my God.
Huge landslide scene, huge layers of rock and soil falling down. High voltage power line burned like fireworks. Firefighters arrived to put out the fire afterwards. Extreme flood disaster. An unbelievable scene captured by camera. Humans are so small before nature. Pictures of devastating lightning strikes in Florida. Everything is terrible. The scene of the riverbank eroding was witnessed by local people. The truck was parked close to the railway tracks and a collision occurred. The tornado happened and everything was sucked up. The scene was hazy.
Oh, big explosion! Big explosion! Oh my God! Where's that vortices?
View of one of the muddiest roads in Belgium. The truck crashed into a roadside barrier, creating a dangerous cloud of dust that obscured the view of oncoming vehicles. The wall collapsed and crushed the cars parked below, causing damage. A waste treatment facility in the Catania industrial zone has caught fire, sending up a huge plume of black smoke and raising fears of a diesel tank explosion. A heavy truck caught fire in the middle of the road. Rescue workers quickly arrived at the scene. The truck collided with the train because it failed to cross the tracks in time as the train was approaching. A corn silo collapsed, causing a massive dust explosion. The power of the explosion of 37 kg of TNT at close range. BBQ fire and emergency response by a group of 4 young men. A tractor trailer crashed into the scene of an accident in progress on the highway. The law requires you to move into another lane and slow down to the speed limit when you see emergency vehicles with flashing lights.
गया
अब गया इधर काफी
ओए पीछे हट जाओ यार
हो गया ओ यार
गया
हो गया ओ यार
ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਨਵਾਂ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਸੀ ਘਰ ਹੱਲੇ ਨਵਾਂ ਘਰ ਸੀ ਇਹ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਗਿਆ ਫਲੈਟ ਹਾਊਸ ਭਾਈ
The truck was overturned in the storm. The terrible explosion of the chemical plant, its devastation was unimaginable. The small truck lost control and collided with the large truck. Then the vehicle overturned and slid down the road. A house fire broke out. While putting out the fire, a loud explosion occurred. A large fire suddenly flared up fiercely.
Bora, vai que dá certo. Vambora. Vambora. Gira, virou. Aê.
The truck had a tire blowout, lost control, and collided with a car traveling in the same direction on the road. The moving car suddenly lost control and crashed into a roadside tree. The driver of the Audi lost control and drove into the opposite lane, colliding with an Isuzu truck. A large truck carrying a container. When the truck turned right, entering a sharp curve, the container overturned and fell off the trailer. A car crashed into a minibus and pushed it into a pole, missing an elderly woman who was crossing the street. A truck carrying more than 1,000 cases of Maltai liquor overturned. A man was arrested for exploding a fireworks shop before the Spring Festival in China. The explosion took place on January 21, 2017, when the fireworks shop exploded and burnt to the ground, igniting a neighboring motorbike store and burnt more than 30 motorbikes. A massive hydrothermal explosion rocked a well-known area of Yellowstone National Park on July 23, 2024. The event took place at around 10 a.m. about 2 miles from Old Faithful. The attraction's boardwalk was damaged, but there were no reports of injuries.
Let me go first so I can make this stuff stable. Walk right where I'm walking.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Max, keep going, keep going.
On July 20, 2021, an explosion occurred at an aluminium alloy plant in Hainan, China. The incident was precipitated by floodwaters breaching a factory wall and coming into contact with high-temperature materials inside the plant, leading to a powerful blast. They'll teach you not to steal other people's stuff next time. You have the capacity to build, to earn, and to be proud of what's yours. Don't trade that potential for something temporary and taken.
En la madre se siente el pinche calorón bien feo.
A fire happened at a diesel distillation company located in the municipality of Catania Jimenez in Mexico. Emergency elements found the active fire and multiple burning industrial containers. In Jizhou, China, there were loud thunder explosions that echoed across the region. Sounds like he shut the engine off intentionally before touching down, so he probably had a gear failure. The driver dozed off. He had no insurance at the time either. At least there were no serious injuries.
That's sweet.
Is this all? Yeah, I thought it was.
Bex, delivery man, fights off two thieves and still delivers packages. He gets an A for delivery skills. The driver was taken to a small organization where a medical examination was conducted, the results of which established a state of intoxication. Tyler Morrell, a delivery driver for Coco's Pizza in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, was seen on home security video footage stepping up to help police stop a suspected car thief.
Oh my God, Jaeger! Oh my God, Jaeger! No!
This is the moment when two Hispanic porch pirates in Pennsylvania race to a home and fight over a package just after a FedEx driver delivers it.
What are you worried about? It's a little boy.
Dog sensed it coming seconds before it happened. Always pay attention to the animals around you. Trust them. In Przylek Duży, Poland, the driver of a van attempted to avoid a closed railway barrier on May 13, 2025. However, the maneuver went completely wrong. Thankfully, he can still see the sun the next day. In Midland, Texas, a serious collision occurred when a vehicle was struck by a freight train. The driver escaped before impact. On February 18, 2024, in Paraná, Brazil, an accident occurred when a truck driver disregarded a red traffic signal at a railway crossing, leading to a collision with a freight train. There were no reported injuries. If the truck driver didn't give it the last-ditch effort to get the truck over the tracks, it would have been a mess. The driver was able to get out of the car while a group of people nearby attempted to lift and move the car out of the way. They were unsuccessful in their efforts before a train arrived, hitting the car and pushing it a ways down the tracks in Edmonds, Washington. A truck wreck occurred when one of the vehicle's tires suddenly experienced a high-speed blowout, causing the driver to lose control as the massive rig swerved across multiple lanes near Ridley Park, Pennsylvania. The truck driver escaped unhurt. On May 12, 2016, in the Sevastopolsky district of Russia, a driver lost control of their vehicle, resulting in a collision involving multiple cars. Watch how this driver's quick thinking and awesome reaction probably saved lives. Anyway, the trucker was going too fast, did not look ahead, and the result was an accident which should not have happened. Heavy flooding due to the overflow of the River Pora in Final Borgo of Final Ligure, Italy. The truck broke down and got stuck on the tracks just as a freight train was approaching. The driver tried to steer but could not avoid the collision, causing the train to derail and overturn. A centuries-old Fengjiang drum tower in China collapsed partially on May 19, 2025, forcing tourists to scramble for safety. Hundreds of roof tiles fell from the 650-year-old drum tower in Anhui. The roof, which suffered a partial collapse, was built a year ago.
Desceu bem, né, viado? Deve estar cheio. Ah, agora tem. Ai! Nossa, mano.
The timing on some of these is better than most movie scripts. If you're not trained or permitted to be in certain zones, stay out. These areas often involve specialized risks. This is a video of the house explosion along Stone Road in Greece, New York on November 12, 2024. When crews arrived, the house had been fully engulfed and collapsed. plant had a history of safety violations and had been fined multiple times prior to the incident. Poor chemical storage, lack of oversight, and illegal production practices were key contributors to the explosion. People living 10 kilometers away from the plant also felt suffocated by the toxic fumes after the explosion. A Penske box truck exploding in suburban Chicago over Memorial Day 2025. An accident due to a leaking propane tank inside the box truck rental. One neighbor thought the fireworks were starting a little early, but it was a lot more than that. A burning vehicle can explode without warning due to fuel, airbags, or other flammable materials. Stay at a safe distance, call emergency services immediately. What began as a small, seemingly controllable fire in the kitchen quickly escalated into a large, uncontrollable blaze as flames spread rapidly through grease and nearby flammable materials. On February 24, 2024, in Sichuan, China, a little boy was setting off fireworks next to a manhole cover. The fireworks ignited the methane in the manhole, causing a sudden explosion. Lane encroachment poses a very high risk of accidents, especially on blind corners like the situation in the clip. When approaching a corner, drivers should slow down and pay attention to observe so they can handle the situation in time. The truck driver was traveling northbound on Woodbury-Glassboro Road when the vehicle left the roadway and struck a telephone pole at Fairview Avenue in Gloucester County, New Jersey. The driver suffered a medical emergency behind the wheel. The area was closed for several hours as crews worked to clear the scene. Glad no one was seriously injured. The driver's car broke down on the highway, forcing him to exit the vehicle and stand outside the guardrail for safety. However, a truck driver, distracted, suddenly veered off course and rear-ended the crash. In Taiwan, a Volvo traveling at high speed attempted to avoid a sudden obstacle by swerving sharply just 1 meter before impact. Everyone below a high-rise building were nearly struck by large pieces of falling debris that suddenly broke loose from the upper floors. Thankfully, there were no injuries.
Knew it was gonna happen.
In the landslide, large rocks rolled down the mountain, almost crushing the car and turning it into scrap metal. Fortunately, the driver backed up the vehicle just in time. The man was calmly sitting in a chair when a speeding car came rushing in from the street. That reflex was so fast, even Peter Parker would be impressed. Hazardous materials rolled over on a busy roadway, narrowly avoiding a catastrophic explosion as flammable substances began to leak from the damaged tank.
Morreu ninguém no coração aí não?
A train slammed into a big rig in front of the Club Car plant in Evans, Georgia. Placards on some of the tanks warned of corrosive and flammable contents. If the fuel and oil the semi was dumping out into the ditch caught fire, it could have been a disaster. A crash between a semi and train on the railroad tracks off Highway 146 in Oldham County. This is an intersection known to many as one of the most problematic in the county. Flashing lights or lowered gates mean a train is coming. Never try to beat it. Trains are much faster and closer than they appear. Wait until you can clear the tracks completely. The semi was on fire as the train dragged it along the tracks on State Route 31 in Mount Victory, Ohio. Rocks spewed away from the tracks, breaking windows at nearby buildings. On a busy street in Thailand, a heated road rage confrontation between two drivers quickly spiraled out of control, transforming an aggressive driving into a real accident. On Illinois Interstate 88 West, a car suddenly lost control and veered out of its lane, crashing forcefully into a nearby pickup truck, causing both vehicles to swerve dangerously. Two heavy tractor-trailers collide at high speed, briefly disrupting traffic, with investigations later confirming that the crash was the fault of the driver who changed lanes abruptly. An iron bar on highway in Taiwan fell from a pickup truck and hit an oncoming vehicle. In Belgium, a high-speed train collided with an articulated lorry that was stranded on a level crossing, leaving emergency services scrambling to contain the aftermath.
Hey, get further away, sir. Wow.
A brief but intense tornado hit Alquizar, Artemisa, Cuba on May 22, 2025, damaging homes, power lines, and a sports complex. It traveled about 800 meters, with the worst impact near Mayakin Sur. Roofs were torn off, walls collapsed, and services disrupted. The video showed a man's miraculous escape from a traffic accident with a truck on the road, amid admiration for the driver's skill. It happened on a road in Bethlehem, south of the West Bank, Palestine. A Thai woman, thinking she was doing a good deed, flicked a cockroach off the head of a tourist. The insect was actually his beloved pet. Shocking footage of an oil spill crash in Bengaluru, India. Oil spills on wet roads cause bikes and a car to skid, leading to a collision with an auto. The finish line is here. Don't forget to give us a like button and share your road encounters in the comments. And don't miss the video on the right side of the screen. See you soon.